Glory Story fam. What is up, y'all? Appreciate y'all checking us out. Um, if it's your first time ever checking out any of our content, welcome. I appreciate you joining. I'm Korrin Wiggins. As always, if you're new here, we love to keep the main thing the main thing. So let's go to the Lord in prayer, and then we'll jump into it. All right. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thou is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. 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 Hey, appreciate y'all again. As you can see on the screen, we have a gentleman, man. I'm really excited about bringing on. But before we jump into it, I want to shout out again the Glory Sports, the Glory Story fam, as well as the Glory Spreaders. If you're not familiar with the Glory Spreaders, it's essentially our team as the Glory Stories. If once you join, you subscribe, get into the Glory Story, the Glory Spreader family, and it's a big family about the body. I'm just really trying to expand the reach and expand what we're doing for the Lord. So shout out to the Glory Spreaders, as well as shout out to the Forgiven Sons and the Forgiven Ones. Being here on the Glory Sports. Once you join our team, if you want to chop it up, speak about the Lord, learn about content specifically for Christian student athlete, you join the Forgiven Ones and you become a Forgiven One. It's a thing that we really are excited about. And but tonight, as you see on the screen, like I said, gentlemen, Mr. Zach RIGGS, we have good luck to y'all too, because it's $5 Friday. So I want to make sure that you all are excited about that. Essentially, when I bring Mr. Riggs on, he don't know about this, y'all. It's gonna be some totally curveball. It's gonna be all fun, but y'all familiar with it because we do our quick hits and our 2-minute drill. So you're gonna fire them off, and essentially, hey, how many of the individuals that if you're subscribed to the channel, as well as if you put hashtag $5 Friday in the comments, and then you go follow our Glory Story Sports page, get opportunity to win $5 from the Glory Stories. Again, that's what we're about, serving community, just really trying to expand the reach as well as the gospel of Jesus Christ. So let's see if we can get him on here. My man, Mr. Zach RIGGS. Let's see. All right. I'm bringing him in.
We're here.
Zach, how you doing, bro?
Doing well. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you
coming.
joining us. I definitely am excited about it, man. I'm pretty sure you heard me kind of speaking to the $5 Friday a little bit, but first and foremost, I think that I should kind of give some context to
Right.
the relationship, right? So for anyone that doesn't know, me and Zach played football and met in college at Clemson University. Zach, yeah, I know we was talking a little bit in the back. I think when I met you, were we in the same, like it seemed like we were in the same major, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think
So
so.
me and
Well,
Zach.
we came in the same year too, so it was probably like summer because we live in
Yeah,
Lightsey and everything. It's
exactly.
probably
So,
that. Yeah.
man, I definitely I think during that time I kind of just knew Zach, and it's just one of them things. Like I feel like when the spirit just connects you with individuals, it's a cool thing. Like me and Zach, I know he had his guys that he was roommates with, so he hung out with a lot of the time. But anytime I passed Zach, it was always just go, like
That's
So
right.
just to give some context to that, like speak to your upbringing. No, don't worry about the dog. It's all good. Yeah. What kind of dog you got?
We have a Bernese Doodle. She's an expensive mutt, is what she is. She's like a Bernese Mountain Dog and a poodle, and she's a mess. She's really a mess.
No,
So,
definitely,
yeah.
man. But talk to a little bit about where you're from. Just kind of like
Yeah.
I would say, just lay the foundation there.
Okay, yeah. So from Zach Riggs, I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. Born and raised here, and I live here now. Got a wife, Abby, and we have 2 kids, and we were talking about it before. But just been here my whole life, lifelong Clemson fan. My parents both went to Clemson, and just kind of got everything worked out and got to meet a bunch of people, yourself, and just lifelong friends, and just blessed to be on a journey, just continuous journey. Some things temporary, like we were talking before. So it's just here.
Yeah, man. You mentioned the kid. Like, you said how old is the newest born?
Yeah, so we have Ella is 2 in July, and then Thomas, or Tommy, or Tomboy, that's what Ella calls him. He is 3 months old, so we're still grinding with him, and he's a great baby. We got lucky. Ella was the one that had to be looked at and touched and couldn't put her down. Tommy, he'll just look at you and smile. So we're blessed to have both of them.
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
said man, you mentioned parents went to Clemson. You all just lifelong Clemson. I would say through and through. Like, how did that come about? Is the whole family from Greenville? Y'all all from Greenville?
So I'm a triplet. I don't know if you knew that. Like, some people don't know that. So I have a brother.
I did not know that. I know your sister.
I have a brother and a sister. So
yeah,
literally we're all three within a minute apart. Mom had so Abby's a minute older than me. I'm the middle, and then Jake's a minute younger than me. So Abby went to Clemson, so you probably met her there. She was always around. Obviously we're all the same age. And then Jake went to the Citadel, and he played kind of wide receiver down there. They kind of did the triple option down there, so it was more of like a blocking kind of thing for like 3 years.
Can't stand
I know. Yeah, we knew it all too well, right?
Yeah.
So my parents went there. My dad moved all over growing up. My mom's from Michigan, happened to just meet at Clemson. Kind of one of those stories you hear. And then my dad played football. My uncle, played football, so it was just kind of a thing. Actually, Coach Pierman was one of their good friends in college, and still keep up with him. Yeah, so he's a big reason, big on the back end of me at Clemson. Just a quick thing of like, when you didn't have a good day, I got hurt, two knee injuries, and you'll be fine. Pick it up. It's like, dang, he's right. He's seen this how many times over how many years. So it was good to have guys like that, in my back pocket kind of thing. And my dad and uncle too. My dad played in the pros for 6 or 7 years, so he saw it all. Man. Yeah, so he saw it all. So he was a good kind of root for us in sports. We grew up playing baseball more than anything. Didn't play football really till 7th or 8th grade. So yeah.
I did not know your dad.
Yeah, there you go.
What position your dad play?
So he was like a tight end. So he's in the Clemson Hall of Fame. Yeah, he was big time. Yeah, in the 80s. Got drafted by the Bengals and played 5 years with them. They lost the Super Bowl when he was there. And then he went to the Reds. I think the Redskins or the Washington, whatever.
Yeah,
Commanders now.
Yeah.
And then he was done right before we got born. So he played for a while. Yeah, he was like a tight end, fullback kind of thing. But back then they were in the kind of wing tee as well. So he was a big dude for a while. And he, like, if you see him, like, go to Coach Batson, because Coach Batson was there when my dad was there. So he always tells me stories.
Legend.
And Coach McCorvey, like, all of them are always like, man, your daddy, man, he was the fastest, the biggest guy at the time, and he had like 50-something scholarship offers. I mean, he was the dude for a while. So it was pretty funny. Yeah, you didn't even know any of this. Yeah, he's from that. And he's from he went to high school, Scotland High,
in North Carolina.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, so he moved around 14 times growing up, but him and his brother did all 4 years of high school at Scotland County. That's where he grew up and ended up at Clemson. So yeah,
that's all right, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I never knew that. And I know you came in as tight end.
I did. Came in as a tight end.
Yeah, so kind of like
as a tight end. Jordan, like Sean McClain, and so obviously Jordan's way more gifted than I was. I was a big, flat-footed dude. So hey, move me to offensive line and try to figure it out. So with a good attitude, that was the big thing, a good positive attitude, and hey, we'll make something happen. But yeah, it was such a blessing. I know we'll cover more, but that's who I am. And that's why Clemson's a big part of where I am and probably where I'll be. Kind of thing, so.
Big time, brother. Yeah. Big time. Look, what we're gonna do is, like I said, it's $5 Friday, so you got some pressure on you, because for every question that you get right, that's the amount of names that we're gonna throw in the hat that will have the opportunity to win the $5 from the Forgiving Sons and the Glory Story. All right, so we'll transition. All right, here we go. Quick hits. This is what we call them. All right.
You got me nervous now.
Yeah. All right. Number one. How many inches is the diameter of a basketball hoop?
I'm gonna
Might
say
have some
32,
people
like
comment.
31 inches, maybe.
Are we
That's big, isn't
sure?
it? Yeah,
Are we sure?
I'm sure. I'm good with it.
31?
That's big. That's too big. That's too big. That's too
It's
big.
actually
Yeah,
18 inches.
that's too
Right,
big.
according to
Basketball.
the internet, this is I believe basketball.com or NBA maybe. The top of the hoop is 10 feet, so the top of the hoop, but
Top
above
two. Yeah.
above the ground, right? So from the ground. Then you got the regulation backboards. They're 6 feet wide, 3.5 feet tall,
Tall.
and all basketball rims. So the hoops are
Dang.
18 inches, so about 46 centimeters, right? So in diameter. So
I got you now.
hey,
I was a foot. That was half.
I'm looking at it like, I'm cool with it because you got it wrong. So
You
that's
got to make up for it right here.
yeah. All right, here we go. Number 2. What is another word for score? For the score of 0 in tennis.
Love.
Another word for the score. The
It's
score of
love. I'm going
0.
with love.
You going with love?
I'm gonna hit you with nil, but I'm gonna say love. Yeah.
Okay. And it is correct. It
All right,
is
good.
love. It is love. Love, a term used in tennis instead of the word nil, right? You said you almost hit me with
Almost
that,
said
or
it.
0. It is used to describe a lack of score in either points, games, or sets.
We're on the board.
Yep. So he on the board. So we got one in there. We got one in the hat. One in the hat tonight. One in the hat. So whoever's in the comments, if you got $5 hashtag $5 Friday in the comments, and you go over to Glory Story Sport, you put your name in the hat. So that's what we're going to announce. The winner, so you get your $5, $5, a little something. So here we go. All right. The Triple Crown Award is given to the horse that wins which 3 races?
All right, it's the Kentucky Derby,
Okay.
the Belmont, and then dang man, what's the third one? Kentucky Derby, Belmont, and man, I don't even know. I really don't even know. I think it's one in
No
New
clue?
York, or is Belmont in New York? There's one like in Florida. There's one in Kentucky, obviously, and then New York. I can't remember.
All
I can't
right,
remember the
here
third
we
one.
go. It actually
Preakness.
you got
Preakness.
2 of them. The
Preakness.
Yep, Preakness, right? So recently Triple Crown in American horse racing championship attributed to the 3-year-old thoroughbred that in a single season wins the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and Belmont Stakes. And I think that's all we have for tonight. So look, he went 1 out of 3, which is cool. That's cool. Like we definitely we'll have one winner for the night. That's fine. No, ain't worry about it. Look, you got to be somebody. Again, if you go over to following us on the Glory Story Sport, we'll essentially announce who the person is. You get just make sure you come and claim your $5. We'll send it via Cash App. So you got to have Cash App to receive it. But if you're someone that this is kind of the beginning of it, and if you want to support it, you can definitely see our ways to give in the links below. Your support is greatly appreciated. We can serve more people, so be greatly appreciated there. But we're going to continue to move along and go into more of the conversation. I would say piece about Zach and his story, and as well as kind of speak to give some tips maybe to some student athletes that you come in contact with, as they're along their journey. They're coming and checking out. They may be checking it out now. They may be in college. They may be in high school trying to get to college, or it may be in the pros, and it can be something that's beneficial for them. But definitely feel like it's great content that we are going to be discussing, and to kind of set some context of where I currently am. I've been reading my thing felt here. Sorry about that. I was about to get the Bible. Just as I'm touching it, the devil is trying to jump in. And I was coming here with it. He didn't want me to touch it. But I was about to say I've been reading the book of Leviticus. So currently I'm chapter 8. I've been a challenge of going from the beginning to the end. My girlfriend is a part of it as well. So pretty cool challenge. long, of course. I mean, you can see how thick the Bible is, but
Yeah.
go to beginning to the end. So I've been in the book of Leviticus, and essentially, Zach, as well as of your person checking this out, or maybe you're not familiar with Leviticus. Essentially, Leviticus is God's way of allowing us to understand what our sacrifices to Him should be. Essentially, is allowing us as the people, how can we live holy in regards to our sacrificial decisions and in regards to our offerings in the eyes of the Creator. So essentially, to give a holistic perspective of what Leviticus is, that's the root of what it is. So I would say in regards to sacrifices, right? Being person, individual, we make sacrifices all the time, right? So I think a great start would be to ask, what is the greatest or largest sacrifice you feel you have had to make in your sports career or along your journey thus far?
Well, I mean, that's a long-winded thing. I think it could be. I'll break it up. I think sports for sure. You have to be able to compete if you want to be in any kind of sport. So you have to have that competitive mindset. You have to be able to turn it off, turn it on. I think a big thing, especially when I got to college. I mean, I wasn't this big, highly recruiter guy. I mean, like you were, a lot of the other guys.
No.
But I think, and especially my background, my Christian background, it keeps me positive to the fact that I know this practice is gonna suck. Coach V is gonna have us run 110 plays in an hour, or whatever. But it's gonna end. Tomorrow will be better, And I think that's the big thing for me: sacrificing me as a person. Of hey, I'm behind all these great players, And I was like a third string center behind Ryan Norton and Jay Guillermo for a while, and then they moved me to I was guard and then center. So it was like Taylor Hearn and EMAC and all these guys, Kalon, and it's Mitch Hyatt. I mean, these guys are all world guys.
Mitch Hyatt, he was like the number one tackle, right?
Yeah, Drew Morgan. And I'm trying to learn the position. I'm already behind. Never played offensive line in my life. So and that was the thing. But I can make a difference on scout team. All of us can make a difference on scout team. So that was the approach we took. Yeah, it's a personal sacrifice. I'm not learning the technique. I'm having to watch YouTube videos at night, get with Coach Austin after practice. After we've done, sweated everything out and, can barely even walk after, a Coach V, Tuesday, Wednesday practice on scout team. But if I didn't do it, then it wouldn't make me better personally. But, the sacrifice to give it my all on scout team against Grady Jarrett and, the numerous guys, Christian Wilkins at the end, Dexter Lawrence, all these guys, so, Deshaun Williams, it didn't matter, for me, to be able, I was undersized, I just had to sacrifice my effort and energy, and Coach Sweeney preaches that. That's all I could give, my effort and energy, and give it to those guys to make them better in the day. And it always made us feel good, at the end of the week when Grady would come up, it's like, man, you could start on that team, or something. It's like, I love it. That's what we wanted. So personal sacrifice in sports, to me, that was the big thing when I got to college. It's like, hey, I'm supposed to be building myself up, building my brand, but for the betterness of the team where I'm at now, as a sophomore, junior, whatever, maybe it is, doing everything I can do on this play, the next play, don't take a water break or whatever, just to stay in. And then personally now, I think, having 2 kids and a wife, it's a lot of sacrifice. And like I said before, it is such a blessing. So, it's all good problems. My brother always tells us, hey man, we got good problems. We got good problems. We'll just start bending to each other. And we do. What a blessing, a family and a home and everything is. But the sacrifice of, working all day, getting home, 6:30. Abby's trying to cook with 2 kids. Ella's ornery from her nap that didn't go well. I got to get home, try to help cook, clean, get them to bed, bath time. And then it's 8:30 and I'm like, okay, I may have 30 minutes before I go to bed myself. Like, what do I want to do? So, and then Abby and I haven't even talked all day. So that's the sacrifice I would say is bigger than anything. But, me as a Christian, I can stay positive in the fact knowing what a blessing we can pour into the youth, this next generation. I mean, how much have we learned even since we've been out of college? How much has happened? All this negativity in the world. How can we be a positive light in that? And, with Ella and Tommy, it's like, dang, all right, this is how we're going to be better. And are we right? Heck, we won't know for a while. But at the same time, it's that energy and effort. That same thing, you can take from sports or like I did on the scout team, every day and put towards them kind of behind the scenes. So that's a big sacrifice now, but like I said, it's temporary. So as long as they'll need me, we'll keep pushing. But that's kind of two-part, I guess.
Man, that's the truth, man. And one thing that kind of resonated with me is when you talked about or what's resonating with me, I would say, is when I think about it, is you talked about going to work,
Right.
talking about your wife, having, she's at the home, cooking, and when you come home, you have like 30 minutes or something like that.
Right.
Like, and
Yeah.
like it, and you start looking at things, and what I'm kind of feeling, or what I feel like the Spirit is telling me, is kind of almost like it's a difference between like the wants and the needs. Like when you talk about sacrifices, like you think about making sacrificial decisions,
Right.
like we as the people, like you it's hard to, if you're not close to them, to distinguish a want versus the need.
Oh yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
you want to, maybe come home and just go to sleep. But when you get home, you need to come home, speak to your wife, be a presence for your kids. Right. And I think a lot of it, we as individuals, but the people, a lot of the world, like, are struggles with balancing the determination between the want versus the need. How do you feel
100%.
like you're able to balance that or see it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it changes. I mean, wants and needs change over time, obviously. But I would say it's a big part. It's really just kind of day to day, to be honest with you. Ella sleeps through the night, and she has for a while, but Tommy, doesn't. So luckily, like, I would say our needs sometimes change depending on, like, I woke up Monday, didn't feel well. So Abby, like, hey, look, I need you, and still had to help with that kind of thing. But I think, yes, do I want to cut the grass this weekend after, having a long week? No, I don't. But,
Right.
we can't play in it if I don't cut it. So I need to cut it, kind of thing. So I think
Absolutely.
I think it does change day to day. However, I just kind of take a back seat to my needs for now. I mean, I just say, hey, I got, serving the Lord. That's number one. I got,
Amen.
basically my kids, family, Abby's right there. And then I'm really, I'm not saying it's healthy, but kind of work, Hot Springs. My dad owns a company, so we're a family business. So it's kind of, that sometimes takes a need over me. I'll stop at QT and get a, piece of pizza for lunch
For
4 days
sure.
out of the week,
No,
which is not
got
good,
to.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, do I need to eat something healthier? I'm gonna have a pack of cooler, bring some green juice or something. But that's where I mean. So I think my needs in my head for now are kind of fourth, fourth down the line. And I think that's just how I approach every day now. And I don't know if I'm just accustomed to it or what, but I think, like I said, that's kind of my priority in my thinking. Okay, if I do this, then my consequence would be this. How does that affect,
Amen.
the Lord, my family, Abby, Ella, Tommy, Hot Springs, and then me, kind of thing. That's kind of where I go with it, I guess.
No, definitely. And
So it changes.
yeah. And you spoke to, the fact about what stood out is you said, shoot, sometimes it changes, sometimes it varies from time to time. And like you mentioned, if it's having to go and, to QT, and, it may not be the healthiest thing, but that's kind of where, you got to get in and fit it in where you can. But in that, like, you understand, I like when you mentioned the fact about you saying, hey, how does it look in the eyes of the Lord? Like, and you went down, essentially your hierarchy,
You're exactly right.
in regards to how you visualize and measure what you should be doing. And I feel like that's huge, man, because, like, I would say personally for myself, like there are a lot of times, man. And again, in regards to these wants and the needs, like when you have that feeling, like those that are spiritually connected with the Lord, like you know that feeling of like, is this what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah.
Or is it, or not? Right? Like you deep down, when you are faced with a decision of, I'm looking at these things, man, I really want to be a rich person.
Right.
But I know that God don't really want me to cheat to be a rich person. Right. And you may sit across from maybe a boss or someone, and you may have a different position where, you get offered a position to, hey, like, if you do this, you'll get X amount of salary, but at the consequence of that, it's a matter of, I gotta lie a little bit to be that.
Right.
Like, right? Like, and in those moments, I know a lot of people, and I feel like
It's not easy. Yeah.
struggle in
Right.
regards to, man, I know that this can set me up and put me in a great position, but is this really what the Lord wants me to do? Essentially, it boils down to, if you don't have that relationship with Him, you're not able to utilize discernment to really discern and to utilize that wisdom to make the correct decision. Like, we
Right.
all know that feeling. We all know that,
Oh, yeah.
hey, you know right, you know wrong. But when you teeter on the line in regards to your relationship with Him, it becomes a little more cloudy. Like, your vision
Right.
is very much cloudy. Like, how do you feel like you are able to stay in the position of, hey, like, I know that even though this is what may be something I want to do,
Yeah.
and it may be something that can be beneficial to me. However, with my relationship with God, like, I don't need to do it. And speak
Right.
to maybe a time when you had to make that decision, what it looked like.
Yeah. It's one thing I'll say, and I was listening to a podcast. I wish I could think of which one it was. Is that
Okay.
I'm not perfect. I'm the farthest thing from perfect. I don't try to be perfect. Like,
Oh yeah, none of us. Absolutely.
and the big thing that I struggled with for a while was, like, I was so hard on myself. If I, the littlest thing, like, so mad at myself for doing it, an accident, I can't be hard on myself. So,
Yeah.
and like I was saying, it's not easy to think. I got my hierarchy. It's not easy to think through that on every situation. But
Yeah.
that's the problem with I think with being human. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you put yourself on a pedestal. You put these people or things on a pedestal, and if you don't talk yourself out of it sometimes, then to find your hierarchy, like I said,
For
mine,
sure.
it's hard to keep that prominent. But I think there's situations every day, like we build swimming pools and deliver hot tubs and stuff. So it's
Oh, okay, you said pools. Oh, that's dope.
it's construction. So it's not never perfect. It's never smooth. So recently this week I had concrete. We're supposed to pour a collar around a pool. This customer, they've been good to work with. It rained a little bit
Mhm.
this week, so it's not easy. They've been waiting for a while.
Yeah.
So, and long story short, concrete canceled on me, just the concrete company. So I had a pump lined up. I had all this stuff lined up. I call the homeowner, and they normally just can't schedule it the next day or the next hour, whatever. So, and that's where it's like, okay, I can tell this homeowner that concrete canceled, which is the truth. I can tell them the pump canceled, which wasn't, which would be
Yeah.
a lie.
It's
That
like,
kind of thing.
what I got to do with that?
So then they asked me, okay, well, when are you going to report next? I'm like, well, crap. I could be an optimist and say, I'm working on it right now. I'm calling them again. I'll
Right.
do it tomorrow, knowing that I probably won't be able to get concrete and then cancel again
Right.
tomorrow on them. Or I could, be the realist and say, hey, this is not a lie. What I'm telling you, it may make you mad at the time, but I'm not perfect. Hot Springs isn't perfect,
Amen.
but this is the truth. Concrete canceled. The first available date would be next Monday. That's when we're planning to do it, scheduling it now. If it rains
Yeah.
Monday, I'll try to schedule it for Thursday, that kind of thing. And it's just really being a proactive mindset for me. That's just, you said a recent example. That's a recent example. Is
Yeah.
I could easily take the,
How did they respond to you
well,
making
and, they were, frustrated at first, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm like, hey, you got to listen. We're getting 8 yards of concrete. There's these big industrial sites 2 miles that way. They're getting 1,000
Yeah.
yards a day. So, luckily, I'm not lying to them. So I gain trust.
Yeah.
They're going to believe me the whole
Yeah.
way through now.
For sure.
So it definitely builds credibility for myself, for my
Amen.
brand, for our brand. And I think that's the big thing is, hey, I could take the easy way out, just say, oh, we'll schedule it tomorrow, schedule it tomorrow, schedule it tomorrow. Well, there's only so many tomorrows. They're only going to
Yeah.
listen to that for so long. So I
Exactly.
think that's the big thing is, hey, be upfront and honest as much as you can. I always try to lead with, hey, this is my best known information at the time. They haven't scheduled a date with me yet. They're gonna call me at 2:00, and I'll have something at 2:00. And if they don't call at 2:00, try to be proactive. The problem
Yeah.
is when you get busy doing something else and you forget to follow up, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's never ending, man. But yeah, that's what I would say is just try to be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
I try not to be like this. Put myself on a pedestal of like, hey, I can see this happening. I'm scheduling it. If it doesn't happen, figure it out and be honest. That's the big thing. It's kind of with our industry, I
No,
guess, and
true.
me personally. And I think I've learned that through trial and error. I mean, you never know. Like with an injury in sports, man. Like I had 2 knee surgeries. I know you had Two
One.
ACLs? Okay.
Yeah. I had
Okay,
one.
ACL.
Yep.
Yeah.
One ACL. Yep.
I remember that. But we, you know, you so long to recover. You're in there, not with the
Yeah.
guys, on your own schedule, treatment in the morning or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, okay, all right, I'm ready to go back. You go back, you're not ready, right? So then you want to
Yeah.
wait a day. And then, you know, Danny Rivers, all right, you ready to go? Go. I'm like, man,
Right.
I'm not ready, you know?
I'm
So it's
not
like,
ready.
you just got to be honest with yourself, honest with everybody else, all the outside people not in your corner, your hierarchy.
For
Try
sure.
to block it out. It doesn't matter.
Amen.
Yes, you're going to make people mad. You're going to ruffle feathers. But at the end of the day, man, you got to do what's best for you. And that's the way I try to live my life, man. I'm not perfect by any means.
No, but truly
That's what
though,
that's,
man,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you said like, man, you know, like when you make those decisions, like a lot of the times, like there are people that they're not going to be happy with them,
Yeah.
and like, you know, how do you, or how would you say, like, you know, in those moments, like it's like, I know I'm doing the right thing, man, like
Right.
I know I am,
Yeah.
and why this is upsetting you,
Yeah.
and it's almost like you're almost about to upset me for doing the right thing,
Right.
and you're
Yeah.
trying to make me feel like I'm doing the wrong thing. Like,
Right.
how do you
Right.
go about like handling that?
Man, it's hard, and I'm not the most confrontational person either. I'm a
Yeah,
guy that I'm proactively, you know, I have like an internal monologue. I'm proactively thinking every way around this conversation to not make you mad, right? Especially as a
yeah,
customer. So I think for me, it's, I mean, I don't know. I'm still working at it, but
yeah.
honestly, it's more of, it's just like, be honest, build credibility. You know, build a foundation of, this is the schedule, you know, anything. I'm talking work now, but
Yeah,
just keep the schedule. If something changed, I will let you know. And I think if you can be proactive, I keep saying that, be proactive, not reactive,
for sure.
then you can, you know, keep the customer's faith, the trust. That way you're not saying, oh crap, I forgot that. Oh, 1 second, let me think about that, I'll call you back, kind of thing. And then, you know, they'll trust you when something doesn't happen, right? Or if something goes wrong, or if a liner doesn't fit or something, you know. So I think
Yeah,
that's how I, like I said, try to be proactive to where you can kind of preemptively think of these things and not have to say, oh crap, what now? Hey man, what happened? Kind of thing. So
exactly. And
yeah.
man, you said the fact about like you said that essentially what the spirit just told me, like I was listening, I kind of was like, oh,
Yeah,
but
another question.
what kind of spoke to me was essentially like Luke, in the book of Luke, like everyone's kind of familiar, you may not be, but Jesus says, like, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily. So essentially, what I where it came from, I think when I heard you speak to, when you have those confrontations, or when you have these situations that arise, or when you are doing things that people get mad at you for, understanding that if you're going to be a part of him and follow him, then those things are going to happen.
Right.
Like it's a matter of, when you make those decisions, what I get from it is, when you're being obedient,
Right.
sometimes it's going to set you apart, and it's
That's the right way to put
okay.
it. Yeah. Good and
Like
bad. Yeah. Good.
it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. You're exactly right. Yeah.
when you're being obedient, it's a situation where a lot of people aren't obedient because they aren't obedient to the same things that you believe in.
Right.
So once you make that decision and you really are following him, you essentially, you do got to take up your cross every day. Meaning,
Right.
I got to die to how I'm feeling. I got to die to
Right.
my flesh is feeling. I got to die to wanting to get upset with you when I
Oh yeah.
know for a fact that I am correct. I got to die to lusting over someone that is outside of my covenant with maybe my wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to die to these particular things because those are the things that are pleasing to him, right? So like when you when you were speaking to that, it seemed like my thing kind of, that's what stood out to me. Maybe 1 minute, hold on.
Yeah.
And then like but I just wanted to say, in regards to that, what are some solutions that you feel like, if I'm an athlete, right, what are some situations that I'm in where I may have to die to or deny what
Right.
I personally feel and want to do. And I'm in different situations. What are some situations where I may have to do, when you're in college? What are some things that
Yeah.
you had to, die to?
Man, I think sports is tough, especially when you get to college. And like I said, I keep saying brand. I mean, that's the big thing now
Yeah.
with NIL and all that. But I think the big thing is, know what's important to you. Where
Yeah.
you want to be in 5 years, 10 years. Set goals, man. Set goals. Write them down. It's not easy. It's not easy to take time back, and I don't do the best job of it either. But
No.
if you have a roadmap planned out, and you say I got to hit this stop, this stop, this stop. Oh, next year that stop.
Yeah.
Then it's really easy to live your day to day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It really is. If you're thinking about your future and your past and your present all at the same time, how are you going to be successful? So I think
Right.
in sports, especially for me, I mean, I went as a tight end, I was like 250. They
Yeah.
moved me to center. I was 250 playing center, never snapped a ball in my life. Going against
Yeah.
all these Scapagano and all these guys, and it's like,
Right.
okay, this is a little diverted off my roadmap, but I still want to achieve these things at Clemson, degree and all this stuff. So obviously all this is still attainable. So what next, right? So, now I'm like, okay, now, I'm not going out. I'm going to have to gain a
Yeah.
bunch of weight. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember I was eating, I mean, no telling what it was, but I mean, I ended up being, 290, 285, 290,
Yeah.
unhealthy,
Yeah.
but ended up gaining weight to get in the role. So I think,
Yeah.
in sports, have this roadmap of where you want to be. Okay, so then I was like, hey, I got to gain weight. All right, I'm focused on gaining weight. I got to sleep. I got to eat. I got to work out. I got to lift different. If you're a
Yeah.
skill player, you lift different than an offensive
Right.
lineman. So I
Mm-hmm.
got to lift
For sure.
different. I got to be in there with Coach Batson, Coach Hogan.
Right.
I got to be in there with Tyrone. The strongest.
Yeah. Strongest
He
dude in
walks in.
America.
He
Yeah.
walks into the gym as a freshman, and they're not even letting him
Right.
lift. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's this all-world dude.
Right.
Maverick. It's like, man, I got to be these guys now. I've never even thought about competing with these
Yeah.
guys. So now, that was my goal. Hey, not going out at night. Getting extra sleep. Maybe waking up, drinking a protein shake in the middle of the night or something.
Yeah.
And then, as far as, I think that's probably really the big thing is just, knowing where you want to be, where you want to go, and then, your day-to-day action will take
Yeah.
that on. I mean, I think that's what I did at Clemson, at least, was, hey, this isn't going to be perfect. Maybe snap a couple extra balls. Luckily, Seth's dad, was Rex. We went to Jersey when he was
Right.
still
Yeah.
with the
Yeah. Yeah.
Jets. So we had just switched, and I remember like talking with the Jets offensive line coach or something.
Yeah.
He's like giving me drills to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is like could not work out more perfectly, right? Like I just found out last week I got to start snapping a ball. I've never snapped a ball in my life. I'm in here with just messing around with
Yeah.
footballs in the Jets facility with Seth. And I think that's the thing. It's just once God winks or whatever you want to call it. But once you
Yeah.
start, there's always going to be something you're like, crap, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. That was one of those situations like he happened to be in the office. It was the off season. Like, okay, maybe I am supposed to be a center.
Right.
Okay, now I got to put everything into this. Did these drills, Maverick, Seth, all these guys. Abby, we're going to Lightsey, the field up at Lightsey, and snapping a football I took from, I don't remember whose locker it was. Wouldn't even, like, it was one of the Clemson football, just snapping it to her. I was like, why? I mean, because if I get in there an inside run and I got Scott Pagano over me, I can't snap
Yeah.
the ball over Schussler's head 40 foot, right?
Exactly.
So that was the thing.
Yeah.
Is
And
like, hey,
then you got
I
to
got to
listen to
sacrifice
Coach
time
D.
now, or else I'm never gonna get it right. So
No, man, that's really good, man, because it's like, what I'm getting from that though is that the spirit, man, like it's a situation where you're never out of it. Like once you get connected with him, man, you're always in a position where he's with you. Like he talks about being this is not I would say a tempting situation, but he always speaks about even in tempting situation, like he leaves us a way out. Like so there essentially he looks at it like there's no excuse, man. Like there's no excuse. Like if you're gonna take a situation and look at it like, it's terrible, it's this, that, and the third, like that's something of your flesh that you are dealing with. But in that, it's fine to have those emotions. Don't get it twisted. Like people get upset, look at stuff like, like, man, that wasn't right. You wanna, really want to speak up about it, do these things, and you can do these things in the right way. But it's a situation where he looking at it like there's no excuse. Like, if you really want to be a person that is upset all the time, if you're someone that finds it like, yo, it's like, what's going on? He's looking at it like, are you really of me? Again, like I mentioned just before, like in Luke, like he's saying, like, if anyone is to be of me. Like you have to pick up your cross daily and
Right.
deny yourself, like, and come follow me. And everything that you're mentioning and saying is definitely resonating with that. And with that, we do, man, a segment called the 2-minute drill. So in this portion, right, the 2-minute drill, we did the quick hits earlier.
Right.
Now we transition into the 2-minute drill, right? So with the 2-minute drill, these are questions that were asked prior to this, right? So I reach out to some student athletes, individuals, and they'll, of the questions, kind of just go through them, and I'll ask you. I'm gonna ask you them, and it may go longer than 2 minutes, because I try and get through them all.
Give
But
some time.
yeah, but just allow it to be a situation where you can speak to it, and we kind of just hit on them, like we kind of can just go back and forth about it. All right. So the first question that I have, you kind of mentioned to it and alluded to it. We had someone put, "What position did you play and why?"
Yeah. So I went in as a tight end. I played tight end in college, which is not like in high school. There's no tight end. You're just a slot receiver basically because nobody blocks. Went in as a tight end, which is especially in Clemson's offense is tough, man. It's you got the quarterback and then tight end and running back. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're formations and stuff, but formations and shifts, it's a lot to learn. And I liked being able to it was a bigger body, so didn't mind blocking, and then loved catching passes, loved it. Wasn't the fastest guy kind of thing, so that's why I played it. Ended up moving to offensive line, moved to center, then guard. Ended playing, I think, right tackle. So a little bit, but I knew all 5 positions on the offensive line. I could hold my own to an extent.
Yeah, that's the power.
At least, yeah,
That's the power of like versatility too, like being
100%,
able to, and
100%.
again, like be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Essentially, that's just the power of mind, like the power of knowledge. Like knowledge is power. Like the more that you know you can do,
100%.
the more that you know you can do, or the more that you can figure out how to do.
Yeah,
you're an asset.
Well,
right?
And that's what I say. Even our employee, we got like a couple high school guys working with us this summer. I'm like, hey, know why? Like, why am I putting this pallet here? Know why? And that's what Coach Caldwell did a great job about. Is like, hey, why are you taking this, little quick step here? Why are you reaching around? Why are you pulling?
Exactly.
Yeah, you can tell me to do it. I'm going to do it, but I don't know why, and it's not going to be good, right?
Exactly.
So know why. Like, what is on this pallet? Why are you putting it there?
Exactly.
You might never have to use it, but know why. And that's kind of what set me apart for a while. If Mitch got hurt, nobody was practicing. Okay, well, I can take a left tackle rep if I have to. No,
right.
It may not be the best, but I can do it.
No,
I know
right,
the technique.
absolutely.
I may be a little undersized, but I'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's exactly right. I agree.
Exactly. No, that's big time. All right, we got number 2. It's 11 questions here, so. Okay. But that was pretty good. All right, so we got number 2. What was the hardest thing for you while playing in college?
The hardest thing, I would say, and be honest with you, like recovering from injury is the hardest thing. I really am, because it's not fun. You're not with your guys. You're not on the same schedule. You're kind of you have help, you have support staff, but you're literally on your own schedule, grinding by yourself, working out differently. I mean, you had it too. I think that was the hardest thing. Is like, hey, mentally staying in it. You're not really in meetings, so you have to kind of mentally stay sharp, but you're fighting pain the whole time. So I think that was one of the toughest things that I dealt with when I was in college.
And how did you deal with it?
A lot. I once again, I put it on a pedestal. It's like, hey, my one goal is recovery, and then I'm going to stay sharp on meetings, whatever we were playing that week or off season, whatever. So it was literally like giving my all to knee-hab, as I called it, knee rehab.
Exactly.
And then, just let the other stuff kind of fall in line after that. But yeah, just everything, every thought, everything, where I sleep, where I sit in the car, who drives me, like we're getting that better. That's all that matters. So I think that's
amen. And again, definitely like we've been talking
sacrifice
about
some stuff too,
right. I was about to say I was about to say it got. Hey, I was just about to say that. I was like, it goes exactly with what we've been talking about this evening, like sacrifices, and then essentially, a solution to the sacrifices is, one we're speaking about is being obedient, and then the second one is essentially just treating others with respect and loving thy neighbor, just as the word says. Like I feel like, from a biblical perspective, like if you are dealing with any sacrifices or trying to offer up anything in regards to what the Lord says, just be obedient as well as love thy neighbor. Like, those two things get you through and keep you
Yeah.
on the straight and narrow, and definitely in a position where he will be pleased if you definitely focus on those things. So, but when you mentioned that, I'm like, it definitely was right on. I'm like,
Goes back
sacrifice.
to it.
Yeah,
Right.
it goes right with it. All right, number 3, did you rock with all of your coaches?
I did, man. I got lucky. Coach Caldwell, he took a different approach. I mean, he's an old school guy. So
Yeah, he recruited
not
me too.
did he? Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
don't even know how that went. But luckily, so Coach, I had Coach Pyramid at first, and then like
hmm
Darrell Berry, I think was the GA then. I think is who it
yeah.
was. And then, but Coach Brooks had recruited me at a Greenville, so like he was
Okay,
the nicest, the easiest. I
yeah,
mean, him. Like he
yeah.
still texts me on my birthday, "Happy birthday." I mean,
That's dope,
easy as
man.
it could be. So luckily,
Yeah,
that was like the front end of it. And then, but yeah, Coach Caldwell, he motivated things a different way, and I didn't always see it as motivation. I saw it as like, gosh, like, but it lit a fire
yeah.
under your butt. And then we had Thomas Fry as a GA, and then Thomas Austin, and
Okay,
dude, Coach Austin, man, I that he knows football, obviously, but
yeah.
he knows how to get in your head and develop you as a man, as a person. So yeah, man,
That's
I
dope.
couldn't speak the world for him. And then Coach Sweeney, I know it's cliche, but man, as open door of a guy as you ever see. Like I said, I started as a preferred walk on and earned a scholarship, I think, like my junior year.
Yeah,
I was a priority to Coach Sweeney, even though I was not you or
yeah,
Jaron
yeah, yeah.
Curse or I was, man. I had an official visit. TJ Green and Marcus Edmond, like we
Right.
were all there. We did the same stuff. I traveled on the same bus as you.
Yeah,
Everything. And if I had a problem, I could text him. He would text me back that night. I could see him first thing in the morning if I had to. So
yeah,
and there's not. I know other guys. My brother went to Citadel. I mean, there's
yeah.
not a lot of people like that, and that's why Clemson's successful. I mean,
Right.
I can go on for hours with that, but man, I did got lucky with coaches, and I think luckily, motivated different ways. You didn't always see it that way, but got to see. If you try to find the positive in any situation, like we keep saying,
Right.
you can always learn something from it, and you can learn something from negative stuff too. It just is hard, obviously.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And I mean, whoever has that question though, even if you consider yourself, you say you don't rock with all the coaches, I'm
right,
gonna comment on it. Like,
yeah,
find someone. If you're there in a situation where you're feeling like, hey, I don't rock with all my coaches at this
right,
point, find someone or something. Granted, I'm gonna say first, tapping that word, but definitely find things that you feel like you enjoy doing on your own. Like if it's go back to the room or play the video game or something like
right.
that. Just kind of read as
Unwind from it. Yeah.
definitely get into the word for sure, as well as find there's somebody on the team that I think
Tap
that
into
you
100%.
can find, yeah, that you can
Right.
get connected with. And if not, hey, reach out to us. Like I definitely
We'll figure it out. We'll help you.
I
Yeah,
help
I
you
will
for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah,
Absolutely. So
100%.
all right. Are workouts and stuff as hard as they seem? Are workouts and stuff as hard as they seem?
Yes, yes, they are. Yes, they are, man. They are. And it's worth it. It's totally worth it. But the program, the protocol, it's there for a reason. But yeah, they're tough. They're tough. I remember like the 5:30 workouts, like summer one, summer two, like summer one especially when you're like kind of out of shape. Those 2 weeks you take
Yeah.
off basically. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're tough. But it's worth it. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, and you can speak. I know you agree with me. We hadn't even
hmm
talked about it.
Yeah.
You miss it though. You miss it. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
miss
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
5:30, all 100 of you,
Yeah.
all struggling, all grinding. You get done, everybody's laid out in the locker room. Like,
Yeah.
man, why do we do that? And then weekend starts. You're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness it's
Let's
over,
do it.
right?
Yeah. It
And
did make the
like you
weekend.
miss the
Yeah.
camaraderie of it. You miss the brotherhood of it. So
Right.
100% worth it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was tough. But nothing in life easy is worth it.
Uh,
So you need it to be tough, or else you're not going to grow.
absolutely.
So yeah, they were
Absolutely,
tough.
for sure. But yeah, like I definitely I can definitely
Yeah,
piggyback that. Like it is something where I still get up pretty early though. Because I have with the group get train some guys, so still stay connected with some
yeah,
young guys. But
good.
the fact of so it's a difference when you're kind of the one developing the
Yeah,
workouts and program as opposed
imagine.
to getting up early and
Right,
going to
plugging
be
in.
able to
Right.
walk into it. So like I would say that's probably the difference. But yeah, anything the workouts, and stuff like that, like it's built to challenge you. It's built to
Right.
challenge you. But again, like you kind of said, like you can't grow without strain. And
Mm.
it's definitely something that you want to strain. All right. How do you handle wanting to play but it seems like there's favoritism.
There's that in every
It
freaking
is
level.
that. This is a good
There
one.
is. And especially in college too, which I don't know how you can prepare yourself for it, but like you go to camps, you go to all the, you go to the school camps, you go to the VTOs, you do all, all that stuff. So you're competing all the time.
Yeah.
They're ranking guys based on whatever. I remember going to camp. Once again, I wasn't like, I think it was like a 3 stars my junior year, and we sucked. So I don't think I had any stars out of high school.
Yeah.
But when you go to camps, you perform, you beat these guys. You had a guy that was like lazy.
Yeah.
And he's like a 4-star guy or something. Didn't even
5-star guy.
compete, and he wins the tight end. I'm like, what the heck? So that's when it started. But the hard part is when you get to college, you're like, you have this goal. All right, I'm gonna do this, meet my benchmark. I'm gonna be playing next year.
Yeah.
Well, then heck, you come in and you got Mitch Hyatt starting, coming the next year, Jake Frew Morgan. It's like, dang, now I got to compete with guys I didn't even think about competing with.
Right.
And how am I gonna beat them now when I already know what their weaknesses were? You know what I mean? And, that was that's tough, I think. But I mean, at least mentally, and after a while, you're all brothers, so it doesn't matter anyways. You help each other.
Right.
But that was kind of weird switch the switch into, I think.
Yeah, because it is. I would say, like, I do feel like when you go and do something like that, you everybody wants to play, and you do want to get opportunity. But the favoritism part, like that's I think that's in every facet of every life. So just not.
And the higher recruited guys are going to get more opportunity.
They're going to get more opportunity because
the younger guy.
And sadly, I think a lot of just the dynamic of where the world is, social media and stuff like that has a huge influence on the media and in regards to rankings. So sometimes, I mean, just because a guy has a big social media, the NIL is going to impact it as well.
Yeah.
The opportunity is going to be a little different. But I would say handling it though, again, be obedient. Love thy neighbor. Essentially, understand, like, stay locked in on where I am, what God has called me to do, what I'm good at, and the rest will take care of itself for sure. Like,
and make the most of your opportunities. That's what I'd say. If you get 1 rep, if these guys get 4, you get 1 rep. Make it a great rep. Make them give you 2 reps.
Yeah.
Right? So,
but it is tough to definitely know that I'm better than this person. And I'm not getting an opportunity, but God definitely He got you for sure.
Yeah.
And I could go in scripture, but I'm not going to take too much time. But if y'all want to talk scripture, we can come holler at me about it. But we got a few more here. What did you do for fun while in school? Kind of spoke about it, but what did you do for fun while in school?
Yeah, so we did intramural. Like in the spring, we'd play intramural basketball. So we'd like Renfro and like Sawyer Jordan and a bunch of us, Nick Schuster. We'd all play intramural basketball. We would. My parents had a lake house on Kiwi, so we'd go out there every once in a while. We lived there for like one summer, like me, Maverick, Morris, Seth, Ryan. I think Jordan lived with us. Adrian Dunn, maybe.
Yeah.
But just whatever. Like we'd hang out at Lightsey, and like because I lived at Lightsey 2 years.
Okay.
Then off campus my junior year. So like whatever everybody else was doing, we just did. We just hang out, play video games. We'd play video games. I remember our freshman year, NCAA. It was the last year of NCAA, and I like Jordan, and I think you were all like you guys were on it. So that was so much fun. Like our freshman year, we were all in Lightsey too.
For sure.
Like everybody was playing it. So I mean that was what we did for fun. I mean honestly, was that
for sure? No, definitely that jump was fun, man. I think they're actually talking about bringing that game back now.
Yeah,
like, and they're gonna be able to get money off of it and everything.
Yeah.
But kind of to piggyback that too, man. Like, fun. I played ball too. Like I definitely went to the gym. As well as the video game was.
We did. Yeah,
I played the game a lot. Like, and it's crazy because I don't even play the game at all no more.
I know.
Yeah, since
a sacrifice. That's a sacrifice. It is. Yeah.
But definitely played it a lot. All right. Okay, you kind of mentioned it, but it says why Clemson? That's all. Why Clemson?
Yeah. So, and I had like offers from smaller schools and everything. I just, once got the opportunity, it's a lifelong dream, obviously. But I think it was more of, man, the atmosphere. Like you go there and everybody says it's different. Like especially now with the new facility and everything.
I can't say that.
It's different. You go there, the coaches, Like
For sure.
they want you there, you want to be there. You don't have
Yeah.
anybody that's like, dang, that person kind of got on my nerves, or what
Yeah.
were they
Right.
looking at? Like I didn't see that. You know, several teammates, you know, said the
Yeah.
same thing. And you know, once
Sure.
you're there, you get around the guys. I mean, the locker room. You know,
For sure.
that's what sold it 100%, man. You know, 100% sold it.
Nah, definitely. Because I definitely you know, to piggyback that, like I can say personally, like they definitely do a great job of I can attest to it, like recruiting like, you know, solid guys, like, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what when I was coming out, that was kind of me. Like I always was a kind of slow motion type guy. Like I didn't do too much.
Right.
I wanted to be in a place where I could just, you know, not be too far from doing
Right.
something. But
If you wanted
when I
to.
get
Right.
here, yeah. But if I get here, like I'm cool with just chilling, man. Like
Right.
I'm not doing too much. Like I mean, if I'm the type of person, if I see something that's wrong, I might say something about it.
Right.
But other than that, like I'm I don't call, you know, I just mind my business. So
That's me. Yeah.
um that was kind of what I was looking like, that type of atmosphere when I was going through school or getting recruited. So and it, just like you said, like I got there, it just did have that kind of like that family feel about it. Like it was
Right.
just, you know, you see kind of the green grass, like, you know,
Oh yeah.
lawn, like kind of like
Yeah.
the layout and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It's like it's kind of small, you know. It
It is.
won't,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely. I can't say that for sure. Well, that was I piggyback that for sure. All right, a few more. Did Clemson have a Christian ministry for athletes?
Yeah, they did. They had FCA, which I did the first couple years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was funny. There's a guy named Alex Bostic. He played
Okay.
baseball the same year. Like I knew Glenn Batson and Eli White and all these guys the same year as we were there. But Alex Bostic's working with me now. So it was funny. We're kind of going back to all this stuff we did. You know,
Yeah.
heck, probably 10 years ago. Yeah, like 10 years ago now, or 9 years
Yeah,
ago.
it is
But
10.
yeah,
Yeah,
so like I
yeah,
remember going to
yeah.
FCA with Eli and like Glenn Batson, and like you know they definitely have, you know, that, which is, it's not technically football, and it's like
Right.
normal students can tap into it, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, I think that's something I did. I don't know if I did anything else though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did. Yeah, I know we did FCA for a
Personally,
while.
man, I'm saying personally, I didn't even know the school had something like that,
Yeah.
man. When I was there, and that, like you mentioned, kind of like regular, if you're kind of just a regular student, that is something
Yeah.
that I definitely do not kind of enjoy, the fact of, you know, you don't have the opportunity to get those same experiences.
Right.
Essentially, that's what my group, the Forgiven Sons, that's what we try and do. Like we definitely
Yeah.
try and create that type of environment and I would say culture of essentially fellow FCA feel, but
Right.
allowing the student athletes to enjoy themselves and to be able to learn and grow in
A
the
safe place.
ministry.
Right.
Yeah. So
That's big time.
yeah, it definitely is something that I felt was lacking
I
when
think
I
you're, because that's, I'm thinking though, I'm like, I don't think there's anything else.
yeah,
So
like,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
awesome.
other
That's
than
huge.
they came to, you know, there was a FCA and then they had like the convention, there
Right.
or
Right. Right.
like kind of like a night out, like
Right.
thing like that they would come and do. But I never even attended one at Clemson, to be honest. I attended my first one at East Carolina, like my
Okay. After. Yeah.
yeah, after like and my gentleman, my roommate at the time, he, in addition to Tashawn Dye, was my roommate as
Oh,
well. But Galen Elmore, he's a good friend of mine, and he's a Christian athlete as well. And you know he got there, and we were transfers, and he was like, "Hey man, like you want to come to this FCA meeting?" I was like, "Oh, like it was like a FCA
yeah.
thing."
It's a
I was like,
thing.
"What?" He was like, I was like, "It's a thing, yeah, man." Like, you know, and I was like, "Man, I never heard about it till I got here," you know. And I was like, "Yeah, man, let me come check it out with you." And like, I definitely I appreciate him for that for sure, because
Right.
it definitely was something that you're just like, man, like kind of open your eyes that this is something that we as student athletes, like especially Christian student athletes, like I want that. Like I want that opportunity to, yeah,
Right.
outside of just being in the word, other students, you can go out and you can find a party or a club or
Oh yeah.
something to do and have
100%. You got
fun at.
time to. Right.
Right. But when you talk about trying to be in a safe place of being a student athlete as well as being a Christian student athlete, like I want to be in a place where I don't have to worry about if Zach is going to, rob me, because I know that. I mean, me and Zach, we stand for the same things. Like
Yeah, no, you're
we're
right.
able to
Absolutely.
we're
Yeah,
able to play worship music. I know it's kind of blurred out, but we're able to play worship videos or something in the background or something
right,
and actually have fun. Like it
right.
doesn't have to
And not
be
worry about
something
somebody walking up and
right, and
asking
it
what you're
doesn't
doing or why. Yeah, 100%.
exactly, and it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be something that is looked at like when you're amongst the people. It doesn't look at like that's not fun, as opposed
right,
to when you're around people that aren't connected with Jesus or the
right.
Lord. They look at the things that you're doing as like that's not fun. Like that's kind
Hmm.
of like the fact that you're reading, or the fact that you're even. I know somebody on here right now probably maybe check this out and they're like, that's not fun. They're talking about God. That's fine, right? Like
Right.
you know what I'm saying. So it's like that is something that that's a good question that was asked. So I know I'm kind of
Yeah,
going on a little bit, but
you're good.
I'm gonna say that to say, um, if y'all feel like y'all are looking for a ministry or something like that, please reach out to myself. Like, definitely, I'll be in a position where connect with you as well as trying maybe get connected with your school. We'll come there. We'll come wherever you are, and we'll put something on for you. So if you got a group of people or kids that you feel like want to do something like that, y'all want to have a fun night out of Christian um, athletes, let us know. We'll definitely try and come and help you. But all right, a few more. How do you approach your coach when you want to discuss playing time or something changes out of the blue?
I think, and it's not easy when you're 18, 19, 20 years old and you're
For
not in a
sure.
position to that you're not in a position you feel like you can have any kind of right, especially if you're not one of those like favorite guys like you said. I think a big thing is, and I'm not saying I did it right back then, but be proactive in thinking of you know be proactive. I would say don't, the longer you wait, the more mentally you're going to get
For
in your head.
sure.
I'm telling you. And even
Amen.
today, like me now, I'm heck 28 now. It's like,
For
hey,
sure.
I gotta
Crazy.
get out in front of this. If not, I'm gonna be a mental midget by the time I
For
thought
sure.
through this thing 10 different times. So I would say, you know, it's not going to be easy, but the sooner you can address it, you can ask,
Amen.
whatever you need, it's going to help you. It's going to get out of your head. It's going to get it on his book or her book, and you're going to be able to say, it's easier to figure it out that way rather than you waiting. Then it becomes a problem. Then you're like, crap, is he even going to let me off, or is it going to be more of an issue now? Kind of thing. I think that was big.
No,
I think that's a big important thing with that.
for sure. Because I mean, I believe. Well, I ain't gonna say I believe. I know that it's in the
Yeah,
word where he says like we're in a situation like go make peace with man as soon as possible. Like if there's something that's confrontational or something that you feel iffy about, like don't prolong it. And
right.
I say it goes twofold. It goes both ways. Like if I can't make peace with myself, then I can't make peace with someone else. So if he's saying like, "Hey, go make peace with that. Go rectify that. Go and make sure that they look at it and like, hey, everything's all good. At least make the effort to do it. Before I do that, I got to make peace with myself, understanding
Yeah,
that, oh man, like, think to myself, like, what did I do in this? All right. And
right.
I got to find a way to make peace with myself as fast as possible. So therefore I can obey the word again, be obedient and go make peace with whatever that situation was that, you know, I got into I would say a conflict or if it was a high pressure situation. So I say that to say in those situations, find a way to where you first can come to peace with yourself, understand that I actually am saying and doing the right things. I'm not crazy because a lot
Right.
of times,
Yeah. Be
like
hard
just
on
because
yourself.
you're in a position, you're a younger person or whatever the case is, you feel like out of respect, as you should, he would say respect your elders. So you respect individuals that are in those positions, but in that respect, you almost I would say hinder your
Right.
intelligence, but you make yourself feel like I don't know as much as they do, or what like, but no, man, if you see something, you can call a spade too. Like you're
100%.
18 to 21 years old in America. I mean, 18-year-old, you going to buying tobacco. Like you can go and buy a cigarette or
Yeah.
something like that. You can't
I'm
buy
going to war now.
anything.
I mean,
But
it's crazy. Yeah.
right, you're able to sign off on legal documents. So, they look at you, your trial like an adult. So I
Right.
say that to say, if you have a situation, definitely go about it in a standpoint of be very business-like about it. This is an opportunity to be a professional. Like if you want to have a conversation, just as if the coach is going to go speak with the athletic director about a raise, he got to think about the same thing, right? He's
Right.
going to put together a plan. He's going to put together what he's done. He's going to put
Right.
together where the school is. You can do the same thing. Have your business plan. I can put together what I've done. They grade all the practices. Let me put how I perform. Let me put how you say I needed to improve and the
Yeah.
improvements that I've made, and then go present that. You can be
Right.
confident and strategic about presenting that. And sometimes if it goes the way you don't plan for it to go, then you can stand
You
on
can't
the truth.
control that. Yeah, you can't
Absolutely.
control that. Right.
You can stand
Yeah.
on the truth. And
Yeah.
that is
And
that's definitely the way I would say personally.
yeah, and try not to get emotional either.
Exactly.
Facts. Be
That's
strategic
it.
with facts. This is what happened. This is what you said. This is where
Exactly.
I'm at. Don't say I feel like I think
Absolutely.
that and it's not
Exactly.
easy, but that that
Nah.
that that'll go a long way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. All right. Two more here. Did you get injured while playing? What did you do to get back healthy? So you
Yeah.
mentioned that earlier.
I dislocated my patella, like my kneecap, our sophomore year. I had like a little lateral release to fix it, and then I ended up doing it again, same knee. I think like a year and a half, 2 years later. So that basically ended my career going into our senior
Yeah.
year. But they reconstructed like my whole patella area. So it was really like it sucked. Kind of straight leg brace for I think it was like 6 weeks or 2 months or something, and then just no range of motion. You have to learn how to walk
Is that
again, that
something
kind of thing.
is that something that's genetic or something? You say you
You
did
know,
it
I
twice. Like, how did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know. And that's part of me is like, man, maybe I shouldn't have been that heavy. Maybe like VMO, like your VMO, which is like the muscle right, kind of like your quad, like the muscle you see right above your kneecap.
Okay.
Maybe I had like really weak VMOs. Like I had strong hips but weak VMOs. So
Yeah.
that's why I did it. I don't know necessarily that it's not genetic, but I mean, I don't think anybody else has had an issue with it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think
I
it's
just
more of
yeah.
just like the angle and like your VMO is basically the muscle that kind of helps hold your patella in place. I think maybe it was just weak. And then
Wow.
the first surgery I may not have needed. It could have kind of corrected itself if I would have given proper time, kind of thing. And then I don't know, man. There's you know how it is. There's no right
Yeah.
answer. For me, that was the right answer at the time,
Yeah.
and then ended up doing it again, playing intramural basketball. Second time,
For
you probably
real?
didn't know that. No, I don't think many people knew that because it was during spring. It was like
Yeah.
the week before spring ball started, going into our senior year, and I think Adrian Dunn or Renfro threw me like I was cherry picking. It's lazy. I
Yeah.
just literally turn around to like lay the ball in, and knee dislocates, hit the ground. Everybody's laughing at me. I'm like, no, 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 like y'all don't
No, I'm
understand. Like
done.
I have
Yeah.
no structure here. Like I am like in so much pain. Long story short, did it again, so it just reconstructed the whole thing. Yeah,
So like, what does that feel like? Like, because
it
I
it
know what.
literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like so there's a ligament like metapatellar ligament that holds your kneecap in place, which is like keeps your knee tracking, one way, right?
Yeah.
So there's like PCL, ACL, LCL, all that, MCL,
Yeah.
which that's like the structure. So the ligaments like are the structure that hold it
Right.
together. So I basically just tore the one that holds the patella to keep your knee tracking correctly. So basically, all those ligaments, there's no structure, so they're all just like pulling and fraying against each other. So I don't
Golly.
know. I hope I never have to feel it again. But it literally feels like your leg is just like somebody's taking your leg and just pulling it, and it doesn't fix it until it's back in place. So your kneecap is, basically pushed back on your knee. It's not fun. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it, but it's not
No.
fun. But it literally feels like your leg is just being ripped off your body, just pulled off. And I think it's
Golly,
just all the
man.
nerves within those ligaments or something. It's
Nah, and
I don't
during
know.
those times though, man, I definitely know that your faith grew though. Like I
Oh
know
my
that
gosh,
in
you think?
those
Yeah,
moments, man. Like
yeah,
talk about like
yeah,
how did you grow?
yeah.
And like and a lot of the times, like, when people say this, like they think like as soon as you do it, you're like, okay, yeah, God, like,
No,
like I'm just this person that
no.
like I know you went through like probably a grieving process. Like how
Oh my
long was
gosh.
that? Like, and
Man,
like
it was
you
because
got
it was
back,
a full
right?
week, man. It was like it happened, and it was just like 8 o'clock at night. So I had texted Danny. I think I texted Coach Caldwell, maybe Sweeney or something. Or no, I think Sweeney had texted me after I texted Danny Poole, and
Hmm.
then I go in the next day get an MRI, and then felt like it was like a week. I think it was like 2 days before the MRI got back, or that next day. And then it was like a whole week of like, hey, the NCAA will still pay for your last year of school if you kind of medically retire. They'll all this. So it was kind of like back and forth with that. So it was like instant depression, like not depression, like, but it was like crap. Like I could be done playing. Like I wasn't ready for that. Like we just lost the national championship that year. It was like, man, we were ready. Like I had more opportunity this year. I was putting on weight. I was ready. Good group of guys coming back. Good guys leaving. Good guys coming, kind of thing. Now I'm like, I hurt my knee. Like what the heck? And then it turned into like faith, family. Like my whole hierarchy there. But all right, what are these guys saying? You guys know me better than I do. What do y'all think, kind of thing?
Right.
And it just kind of turned into like, hey, I could recover, but I'll be down weight. I won't be strong. I have to redo everything I did. I have I got redshirted, so I had 2 years left, and I'm like, I'll be behind. It's like maybe I can focus on, and then that's when the last year I kind of helped run the scout team with Coach V. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But I was flipping the cards. I mean, I had 15, 20,000 steps after practice. So it was like, kind of turning that negative into a positive. It's like, all right, man, I may be done playing, but I still get all the perks. I still get to be around all the guys. I can go to the workouts if I want to. I can, I still get jersey number if I wanted to, but whatever. So now I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to focus on getting as many reps in as we can from a coaching standpoint of running back and forth instead of walking, or helping, make the cards with Warwick or something. That was kind of big. It's like, hey, negative to a positive, and how can this help me long term? And it did. It really did. So,
man.
But yeah, that's test your faith. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You got to be. It's once again, it wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, it's like, man, thank God that happened. Where would I be if that didn't happen?
And think, man, I feel the spirit telling me, man, like hearing you say it, man, like, and being someone that went through an injury, and you're gonna constantly face adversity, like, but when you get to that position where you feel like I'm all right, like I'm all right, man, it makes you feel like I can go conquer the world with God.
That's right.
We can go do this, man.
Right.
We can do this. And any trial, anything that I'm gonna come against, man, like we're built different. And you think about like the body of Christ, like, and you really think about his disciples and the way that they had to, again, like we've been talking about, sacrifice, pick up their cross daily. They really were crucified, like, for standing on righteousness, for choosing to be built different with Christ. Like, and it just lets you know that when you with them, man, you built different, man. And like just hearing you speak about it, like,
well, mentally, you're like, man, this is the worst case scenario.
Come
like,
on,
in your mind when you're playing, it's like this is worst case scenario. What happened? Now I'm like, man, that was it.
That was it,
for real. Like that was it. Like, come on.
That was it.
At the time, it's not easy, man. We keep saying that, but
amen.
That was it. For real. You're exactly right in saying that. Pick up your cross. You're exactly right.
Absolutely. And lastly, man, we have, what are you doing now? You kind of mentioned it. And how did you choose your job career?
Yes. So I thought I wanted to be a football coach after my last year. So I was going to stay, kind of be like a GA at Clemson. I knew I wanted to get married. Abby and I had dated kind of since high school. And I was like, man, I don't want to have to like live on a stipend, live and go find an apartment in Clemson or whatever. Like for real. And that was selfish at the time. But once again, like faith family kind of thing. It wasn't, faith coaching Abby. It was, so it was like, all right, I graduated a semester early, and then she was still there for the fall semester. So I was like, maybe I could start setting some roots, kind of thing. So I looked, my dad and uncle owned a pool company in Greenville. So I was like, I think there's obviously endless opportunity there. So I was like, I'll try that out. And then obviously, going on 7 years later, it's, we've grown and expanded and have a whole other stuff started. My brother started 2 years ago with us. So Jake brought a whole another kind of like, whole different, thought process and things from where he came in corporate America. So, once again, it's a family business, but we try to make things right in the end. It's construction. It's not going to be perfect. We're not perfect, like I keep saying, but if, our goal is to make, you happy at the end of it. And what that means, it's different for each situation, but that's what we're doing now. Yeah.
No, man.
That's what we're doing.
That's big time, man. And at the end of the day, that's our 2-minute drill.
There you go.
Appreciate y'all always providing the questions.
Yeah.
They're great questions. Continue to keep them coming. You're checking this out now. Make sure you can get them into the again at the Glory Story Sport on Instagram. You can submit them there, or we'll try and make sure we get those answered for you. But at the end of the day, like we mentioned, sacrifices, right? You're gonna have to make them. You're gonna have to definitely deny yourself daily if you're gonna be with the Creator. And additionally, a solution to how do we deny ourselves daily? Just continue to be obedient, as you mentioned here. The urges of the flesh, they're immoral. So essentially just humbly submitting to the righteousness of the things that you're supposed to do. And then secondly, God, just serve, like essentially just treat others with respect and love your neighbor. And if there's anything that Mr. Riggs would like to say before we end for this evening, he has the floor. And y'all can drop any questions in the comments too if y'all want to ask.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. I think, and nobody will know this, but I think you reached out to me like October, maybe, or it was even
Yes.
last summer, maybe.
Glad we got
Once
it done.
again, well, and I just thank you for being, perseverant, man. I'm,
Nah.
like I say, try to stay true to myself, and try not to get on Instagram at night or something if Abby and I are like hanging out, but it's not
No, that's
always easy.
good.
So, apologize for the delay. And
No,
I
man.
just say, stay positive, be thoughtful with what you do and who you're with,
Amen.
and I think that's the big thing. Nobody's perfect. You don't have to be perfect. And just, don't be hard on yourself at the end of the day. And,
Sure.
God willing, there'll be tomorrow we can make up for. So I think that's
For
the
sure.
big thing
Amen.
I'd say. And
I'm glad we got it done,
stay
man.
positive.
Hope y'all
Yeah.
enjoyed it. As always, faith forward, keeping the main thing the main thing. Glory Sports. Share this. Again, if there's any way you want to support what we got going on, you can check it out at forgivingsons.org. We appreciate you all. Stay safe. God bless you. Until next time.